Hey there, folks. I'm recording this at about 2 a.m. on New Year's, so I'm gonna be in a way better mood than usual, but I might misspeak here and there, so I apologize in advance. Welcome back to another tutorial, moderate, not very sweaty individuals. I apologize for all of the hot takes that I may drop on you today, however, the odds of me being correct are about 98, 99% and climbing. I'm not trying to flex, I'm just stating probabilities. If I go into each individual duelist and all of their abilities today, the video is going to be well over 20 minutes to half an hour. Instead, I'm operating under the impression that you understand what the abilities are at their basic level. If you do not know the character's abilities, how about you go look at the giant chart that they give you when you overview them? This leaves me to explaining how to use duelists effectively, from combos to positioning, etc., etc. If I miss any secret or forbidden techniques, like before, feel free to tell me in the comments. And by the way, buffs and nerfs happen in these kinds of games all the time. Some stuff may change. Check the date on this video. This video is not child friendly. Not sure what people expected out of me, but apparently they did prior. So, be warned. Go to YouTube Kids if that's your sort of thing. Starting off, what is your job as a duelist? You're supposed to kill shit. I know, real complicated, and I say that jokingly, of course, but some of you seem hell-bent on making it look real difficult. If you're serious about improving here, I got good and bad news for you. It's pretty important that you know how to aim. At the least, you have to be able to track a target. If you can't, it's probably time to go play a tank until you can. In addition, if you play dive, you need to start memorizing where health packs are on the map. You also need to learn flexibility. You're not going to get away with a one-size-fits-all approach, especially with hero bans coming into play. If everybody is playing into range and you're playing into melee, it's going to suck for you. But it's not the end of the world. Some characters are incredibly Ooh. Well, that was the first messed up. Oh, here we go. Some characters are incredibly forgiving. It's not the end of the world if you can't aim immaculately. You can treat them as stepping stones to more complicated characters. Using someone like Iron Fist as a path to magic comes to mind, although that's not exactly a stellar example of aim, but I digress. That's enough intro stuff. Let's get into the heroes. The goal with Black Panther is to jump the back line and cycle your abilities. You should be focusing on opponents with poor mobility, as they are easy targets for you. When engaging opponents, use your climbing ability to drop in and surprise them. As you descend, throw a spear at their feet. The radius is enormous. You do not need to be accurate, get it in their general area. The rest is a simple chain, so pay attention. Dash, kick, dash, spear, dash, and then depending on how long it took, you can put another spear and then a dash in there. In full, it's leap, spear, dash, kick, dash, spear, dash. And if that doesn't kill them, just call it a day and reset. If you see a little symbol above their heads, that means you will regain your dash and some health when you hit them. It is applied by landing all of those other skills. Your ultimate is basically a heavy dash that also applies the mark. Are you pretty good at aiming, but you don't really want to be rewarded? Meet Black Widow. I am not even exaggerating when I say this. If you want to play a sniper, you should probably check out whatever Call of Duty is up to these days. Black Widow is pretty much a one-way ticket to Suplex City as soon as a dive character gets introduced to the enemy team. Do you have shitty aim but want to instantly kill 3/4 of the roster while risking literally nothing at all? Then you'll love Hawkeye. You just need to cope with the fact that everyone else is never gonna love you. Now, I'm sure that feeling isn't very foreign to Hawkeye players. No. They've probably been used to that for quite some time. All you need to do with Hawkeye is stand far away and spam arrows at fragile targets. But remember, my sweet summer child, if you do this, you are classless trash. No better than pool scum or the cancer cells in a poor bald girl's titty. Speaking of classless trash, allow me to introduce you to the Duchess of Dipshits herself, Hela. Similarly to Hawkeye, there are plenty of people who have no skill to this character all the way up to Diamond and are now doing horrible on damage. Your Crow is a get-out-of-jail-free card, but you'll never need it. Spamming your primary fire evaporates everything in front of you to the point where you don't even need your crowd control and splash abilities. And your ultimate, well, that's just an instant clear on point 90% of the time. If I catch you with the Lord icon on a Hela, I'm coming to your home and throwing a hand grenade through your window, and understand that you completely deserved it. Iron Fist is, simply put, one of the dive characters of all time. When you are in your infancy playing this game, he will seem incredibly oppressive, but don't worry, it doesn't last very long. When you are playing Iron Fist, your goal is to harass the enemy backline. You do this by dropping in, drawing attention to yourself, and then hitting block. Do not hit block early. You need to piss them off enough to shoot you repeatedly so that your block eats up all of the damage and adds it to your health. After that, it upgrades your melee, so kill supports, and hope to high heaven that your team pushes in. Your attacks lock onto characters, by the way. Once you start fighting, you're pretty much impossible to shake. You can also block pretty much every burst ultimate in the game. Don't use Iron Man without Hulk. When you do use him with Hulk, flank and use his beam. Also, on behalf of everybody, how about you go fuck yourself, orphan boy? No wonder your parents died. I bet it was from disappointment. Magic is on some bullshit, but she definitely exists, so here we are. Somebody thought it was a good idea to give invulnerability frames, short cooldowns, and health on hits to a melee character, and now we have this. Flank your enemy, get into the back line, and do this combo to instantly kill people, I guess. Lifting slash, primary slash, alternate slash, primary slash, then portal out. If there's anything left to them, portal slash again. If you don't know what to do with your hands at all, portal slash. Always use portals all the time. The same philosophy goes for your ultimate state. With Moonight, you've got options. Dump your primary fire between the tanks constantly and make their lives miserable. Either that, or flank the supports and kill the entire backline with a single Ankh. If you're gonna set up somewhere, dump an Ankh near you to obliterate anyone who's gonna dive. By the way, your Ankhs pull people towards the center, and you can nuke squishies with a primary alternate primary fire combo. Namor is also some bullshit. He's got a hitbox the size of a fucking city block. Even the meteor that killed the dinosaurs would consider his area of effect to be egregious. Or whatever. Throw your dumbass cephalopods on high ground out of the enemy's view and dump your alternate fire trident to eradicate any and all squishies. When you take too much damage, bubble up, scream for your supports, and hope that they hit you. Otherwise, keep placing squids and aim slightly above the enemy's head, because headshots will send your little dudes into rage mode, and you have, once again, immense margin for error. Save the ultimate for groups of people that you need knocked down to create opportunities. Otherwise, I don't know, suck less if you're still doing bad. I actually resent Psylocks, but it's mostly because the good ones make my support line cry. They're both dead in the 3 seconds that it takes me to turn around, and then I have to walk all the way back to spawn and escort them out again after hooking and headshotting the purple bitch. I guess I gotta teach you how to be the thing I hate now, so I'm sure there's other ways that people do it, but here are the 2 ways I hit her one-shot combo. Cloak up, alternate fire, primary fire, dash, and then dash out of the area. If they're a more durable character, say 300 or so health, spin and toss another primary fire there at the end. It works fine. Do not throw in the other dash. Keep that as your escape tool. Your cloak does not last long, so hang on the outskirts of the middle lane using your third person to peek around corners. If you have your ultimate, just dump it on the back line when they don't have their ultimates ready to counter you. If you need instructions on how to play the character that automatically aims and has 2 invulnerability cooldowns, I'm kind of at a loss for help with you. The real answer is learn to play a better character at the end of the day. SpiderMan can be a difficult dive character, and he seems ineffective compared to others. I say this in regard to what they are capable of doing in terms of effort expenditure. He is incredibly mobile, but his survivability mostly derives from people being unable to track him. He also has a one-shot combo that I'm not exactly great with, but it is still a one-shot combo. Tag them with a web, use your web pull, punch and fire another web as soon as the punch animation is done, uppercut, and if that doesn't kill them, one more punch in the air should. Swing in and use it to harass the backline. When you have your ultimate, swing in, dump it on the backline. Most of this consists of fighting the backline, as with most dive characters. I suck at SpiderMan, so good luck. Thank God this bitch has a tail and people don't play her lest they be called a furry. Squirrel Girl is played by standing entirely in cover and spamming all of your primary fire and abilities down choke points. It's like Junkrat, but she's worse because the projectiles travel faster and hit harder. I hope she has a heart attack so fucking hard her whole family dies. Star-Lord is a situation where accuracy matters. If you can't aim, go play Punisher until you can aim. Once you can aim, Star-Lord is gonna play like constant bluff charging. If you get in the enemy's face to do your burst damage and then recoil back to your support's line of view, you're doing an okay job. Almost treat yourself as if there is a tether to your front line and you want to pull the line taut and then let it go slack again, kinda like you're a yo-yo for your tanks. If you have a kill that you're primed to finish, use your dashes to automatically reload your weapons and finish the kill. If someone is low and you really need the kill, provided they are close, feel free to do the bullet break dancing move. Otherwise, get height on your ultimate and do not let your boosters run all the way to empty and you should be fine. We've already been over this a couple times, but there ain't a goddamn person who's got any business playing Storm. She's basically a support duelist, and I know some of you want to get value out of this character. You might think it's a sleeper pick. Just play someone who shoots things and does normal damage. Her main ability requires Shibi in the middle of the chaos, which often gets her shot, but has a use once in a blue moon. Her ultimate is also pretty good most times, but that's about it. I will say you're a bad person for playing some characters like Hela and Hawkeye, but Widow and Storm, honestly, they don't seem meant to be used. The Punisher shoots people. I know, it's insane. If they're far away, use the assault rifle. If they're close to you, usually tanks, use the shotgun. If you die often, place zip lines to speed up your rollout so you can feed even harder, or you could do your team the mercy of swapping to a tank, because if you're going to die, the least you could do is be a meat shield beforehand. Flank and use your ultimate when you need to shoot a lot of things, and there you go, that's Frank Castle. Winter Soldier is just a long-range kidnapping utensil. Get yourself a shield tank or a Groot for this. Push up to the enemy team, wait for a squishy to overextend, grab them by the throat. When you grab, spin and look towards your team. It will relocate the enemy further off sides, and then you've got options. If it's a Groot, big wall as soon as you hook, and your team will eat them alive. Otherwise, hook, turn, fire twice, dash punch into your team, and fire again. If it's a squishy, they will be dead. If it is a tank, they will be severely wounded, and they're not making it out of there alive. Either way, that fucker is dead so long as they don't panic ultimate. As for your ultimate, don't jump unless Cloak, Mantis, and Luna cannot use their ultimates to counter, and you will kill the entire enemy team. Whereas Bucky is long-range kidnapping, Wolverine is good old classic manual kidnapping. You identify the enemy tank, prepare your attack by using your damage mitigation ability, lunge onto the tank with your alternate fire, and then use the leap ability to drag the tank away from their team. After that, you can fully commit to the tank with slashes as you will be in rage mode. If there is a tank on the field, that is who you should be focusing on, and you should only really use him when there's two. Wolverine does damage proportionate to health bars, not health numbers. This means he is the chief tank buster on the battlefield. When using his ultimate, figure out where you want to bring the enemy tank beforehand, put the tank in between you and that point, activate the ultimate to launch everyone around you up in the air, and target the point, hitting the tank along the way to carry them there. There you have it, your basics on how not to screw up so much. Here's a few more breadcrumbs for you. Stop walking in front of your goddamn tanks. They're supposed to absorb the damage for you. If you can't aim for shit, go ahead and play a hit scan character, or get off of damage characters. Quit shooting the goddamn tank unless they are very low on health. You are giving supports free ultimate charge. Your statistics mean basically nothing unless you are going negative, in which case, you are screwing up. With that done, a question and a statement. Do you think that characters who are getting banned near religiously are going to receive some nerfs? The community almost unanimously agrees things like Hawkeye and Hela are so busted that they shouldn't even be in the game, so I'm thinking maybe. And I don't think it would be a bad thing if they did. Also, I think hero bans should be applicable across all ranks. There's no reason you should be able to cheese a rank up to a certain threshold. We shouldn't let that behavior begin with in the first place. If you're looking for people to play with, there's a Discord server in the description. Otherwise, have a good night.